The Western propaganda machine has been working relentlessly since the riots in Iran began. Western media began throwing fabricated narratives, left and right, with reports even claiming there is a massacre on the streets of Iran. The fake narrative, pushed by these media channels, climaxed yesterday, during the Piers Morgan Uncensored show, where he hosted Iranian Professor Seyed Mohammad Marandi. Piers didn't seem interested in hearing what Marandi had to say.
The numbers are fabricated. The government has not given any numbers. And as I said,
2,000.
I'm talking, Piers. You don't want me to talk.
Well, you said you're just wrong.
You are just like those journalists who are talking about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq and the incubators.
Instead, he and the producer of the show tricked the professor by adding an Iranian monarchist to the conversation after telling him it would be a one-on-one interview. And still, Seyed Marandi responded. The monarchist, Goldi Gamari, was only concerned about parroting the same story we heard 1,000 times already.
Now, I want to bring in Goldi Gamari because she wants to directly challenge. She wants to directly challenge what you have said.
One-on-one.
Yes,
you said
that's fine.
After the interview, Gamari went to X to make an explicit threat against Professor Marandi, calling for his dismemberment. After he refuted her claim that the anti-riots protests were from General Qasem Soleimani's funeral in 2020. This is an example of the demands of the so-called peaceful protesters who are calling for the son of a monarch who spent most of his life in the US to simply step in and take over Iran. These are the same protesters who burnt police officers and a nurse alive, set clinics, public buses, mosques on fire and left hundreds of Iranians killed, including a 3-year-old child, with the funerals of only 300 of them held in Tehran today. How will the supporters of vandals challenge the footage of the hundreds of coffins carried on fellow Iranian shoulders? Moreover, as Marandi was recounting the events and how they escalated, the presenter completely sidelined the atrocious crimes the professor was recounting, cutting him off repeatedly, seemingly to downplay the effect.
We had rioters who burned people alive, who cut people's heads off, and it's the evidence.
And what has your regime done to the protesters?
The protesters, Piers, the millions of people that came to the streets yesterday, why did they come to the streets? It's because your narrative is nonsense.
Well, how many protesters have been killed?
Your narrative.
How many protesters have been killed?
What's happening is as clear as the sun. When the former head of the CIA, Mike Pompeo, comes out and says Mossad is in the streets of Iran, that means that a Western and Israeli-backed plan with the aim of regime change in Iran is in the making. They do not care about the Iranian people. All they care about is geopolitical interest and eliminating whoever tries to challenge their imperialist ambitions in West Asia.